Hey guys, Augiesaint here, and how you guys doing? I want to share with you my Pulverize powered Malignant build. Well, swap that around, my Malignant powered Pulverize build, as it is a lot stronger now in Season 1 with the use of the Malignant Hearts. There is two ones in specific that help with resource gen, and the biggest thing with Pulverize Druid was resource gen, for me anyway. And so you don't have to use the Umbral aspect anymore. Instead, we can now get more damage by using these Malignant Hearts, as well as more damage on top, with those hearts giving us damage and resource. So really fun. I know a lot of people say Pulverize Druid is overrated and the new Landslide / Poison Creeper build is really strong. I know. Pulverize, Landslide, like that Poison Creeper build is what I used while leveling. That's really strong, and I do plan on bringing up an updated version of that soon as well. The build has some crazy potential, but I just found the Vasili's Prayer unique for Pulverize and decided, well, I'll play my Pulverize Druid a little bit again since I really enjoy it. I'm going to share with you guys my updated Pulverize for this season, so without further ado, let's hop into it. Also, quick disclaimer, you do not need Vasili's Prayer, which is this unique over there, but it does make the build a lot stronger and a lot better with it. And it just gives you other options as well, because it turns all your earth skills into were-based skills, and your whole point of the build is to try and stay in Grizzly Rage as much as you can. And you can't use it unless it's a were-based skill in Grizzly Rage. So that is something to just keep in mind. But this was literally the first unique that dropped for me in World Tier 3, so it's pretty common, I would say, into the skill tree. Oh, quick plot twist, I almost forgot to tell you guys, this is all on Mobalytics as well. So you want to go follow the written version, I will have it down below in the description. I've got all the hearts over there for you guys, the gems, the everything. I will be adding the stat bar as well down here at the bottom, as well as there's the skill tree for you to follow and the Paragon Board. So just want to quickly look through something really easy to find. Go check it out on Mobalytics. So let's get into it. Earth Spike, Enhanced, and Fierce Earth Spike. This will be the first little change you would have to make if you don't have Vasili's. If you don't have Vasili's, then you just pick up Storm Strike with Fierce Storm Strike, because you can't use it inside of your Grizzly Rage anyway. So you might as well pick up that one for the vulnerable application and the more chance at lucky hit. You could even switch it over to the Wild Storm Strike over there to hit 2 additional targets to then proc your lucky hit faster, which is our main point of the build, is because lucky hit procs Earthen Might, which is massive for the build. Moving on, then you want to pick 1 point in Heart of Wild, 3 into Wild Impulses, just for increased damage, and the spirit cost doesn't really matter. Like I said, with the lucky hit giving us pretty much all our spirit because of Earthen Might. Pulverize is the bread and butter with Primal Pulverize. You do want to get as much Pulverize as you can on your gear, especially on your gloves. You can get +4 to Pulverize. I unfortunately have not gotten that, but I do have the Vasili's Prayer and the chest piece as well, so it's kind of giving me almost that. But if I had it on my gloves, I could get this up to +12, which would be massive damage increase over there. I'm going to pick up 3 points into Predator Instincts and 3 points into Iron Fur just for crit chance and damage reduction. Then we pick up Iron Bulwark, well, Earthen Bulwark, I just like to call it Iron Bulwark, with Preserving Earthen Bulwark, since this is our main source of Unstoppable, especially with the nerfs to the Grizzly Rage is Unstoppable. Then we pick up Debilitating Roar with Enhanced and Preserving Debilitating Roar. I don't actually like this one all that much. I would much rather have Blood Owl in the build, but you can't turn this into a were-based skill, so you can't use it while in Grizzly Rage. So that's why we just have to go with Debilitating Roar. It is a really strong defensive cooldown. I just don't really need defenses that often. It does give you a nice little heal as well. That's what I pick up there. And we come down to Nature's Reach, as there's nowhere else to really put these points, and it just increases your damage to distant targets. Then we come on down to our passives, Crushing Earth 3, Safeguard 3, and Stone Guard. This is just giving you Fortify and increased damage with everything earthenly. So really good over there. Then we go with Trample, Enhanced, and Savage Trample. Now I use Savage Trample because 40 Spirit is enough to cast 1 Pulverize. You see Pulverize is 38 Spirit cost there, so you could find yourself in a bad spot where maybe you're just not getting a lucky hit proc. You're in a big mob, then all you do is hit Trample. Now you get a little bit of damage reduction and everything, you get some Fortify and everything, and you get the 40 Spirit. So you hit 1 Pulverize down, it hits like a big pack, and usually something in that pack is going to proc your lucky hit, and then you're just going to proc your Earthen Might and get full Spirit and deal more damage. That is why I like to use it, but you could use natural over there for the base life. But as again, before I said, you don't really need the damage reduction I found. Especially now while farming, like speed farming stuff and just leveling. Maybe later on when we're trying to push those higher nightmare dungeons, you could switch over to that and you might need it. Just keep in mind that stuff over there. And then we pick up all of the passives over here. Defiance, just for more nature magic. Natural Disaster for more damage against vulnerable. Resonance, just no more nature magic damage again. This will give you more damage if you are using Storm Strike, because it's a storm skill, and then it procs the second part of the passive, which we don't actually get because of Vasilis. You see, they triple the bonus if an earth skill is the next skill cast after a storm skill. So it gives you triple the amount over there. And then Circle of Life, just our way of maintaining a little bit of our life, since they did nerf Masochistic. And then we come on down to Grizzly Rage with Prime and Supreme Grizzly Rage. And then we have 1 point to really put wherever. I decided just put it in defensive posture, increases your fortify gain from all sources by 5%. And then obviously we do pick up Earthen Might. This is the massive bread and butter of the build. Lucky hit, damaging enemy with earth skills has up to a 5% chance to restore all your spirit and cause your attacks to be guaranteed critical strikes for the next 5 seconds. And this chance is also increased by 10% for critical strikes and 10% if the target is stunned, immobilized, or knocked back. So that's why you want to stack crit. Lucky hit for this build is really important. Then let's hop over to the gear. So like I said, Vasili's Prayer, you don't need this one. If you don't have it yet, just grab yourself a legendary helmet with cooldown reduction, max life. I think you could even get spirit reduction on the helmet, or you could even get total armor or something like that, something defensive. And then we come on down to the chest piece, Insatiable Fury. You don't need this one again. You could just use any legendary chest piece with good damage reduction rolls. The aspect you want to put on there is Aspect of Disobedience, just a really good overall defensive aspect. Even after the nerfs, it's still really good. Then we come on down to our gloves. Now these are a little bit more important for the build. You want to try and get +4 to Pulverize on these as fast as you can, then followed by lucky hit chance, crit strike chance, and probably attack speed or crit damage in earthen skills, but you don't really need that much crit damage because of our Grizzly Rage aspect. So I would probably say attack speed would be the next best thing over there. I'll have all of these stat priorities down in the Mobilytics website for you guys, so you can check it out over here at the bottom. I'm going to add it all in the bottom, just a quick reference. And then the aspect we want to use on there is your Pulverize is now an earth skill. After casting Pulverize, tectonic spikes continue to deal damage over 2 seconds. Really important for the build. Move on down to the pants. We want to be using Aspect of Might on this one to give your basic skills, will give you damage reduction, since we'll be using a basic skill to proc our Earthen Might most of the time anyway. Or if you get a lot of procs from Pulverize, just make sure to weave in a auto attack every couple of seconds just to keep that up. And again, the stats you want to go for is just damage reduction, total armor while in Werebear, and then all stats is something you could get, but probably rather want to get the damage reduction rolls on there. For the boots, these are more of like your utility item there. So for rolls, you could get spirit cost reduction and movement speed. I would say those are the most important ones. And then willpower as well, since you can easily fit that in there. So move speed, willpower, and spirit cost reduction. And then what I have on there is another really important one, is damage from earth skills slow enemies by 25%. This procs a lot of our damage multipliers as it makes them slowed. And then we go to shockwave aspect on the... You want to use a legendary 200 star for this because it gives you damage to crowd controlled enemies, which they will always be since they are slowed from your earthen attacks. And then what you really want to get on there is vulnerable, crit strike, and then core damage, and then obviously willpower as well. So you can see mine is pretty bad. I mean, I'm missing out vulnerable on there. Vulnerable is a massive multiplier, probably one of the strongest still even after the nerfs. So make sure you try and get vulnerable on your weapon. And then the aspect of there is the Pulverize creates a shockwave that travels forward, dealing 200% of its damage to the targets in your path. Really, really strong on what's make this build so strong, especially the Pulverize, obviously, because 200%, that's a lot of damage. And then moving over to the necklace, I have a really bad necklace over here. I'm pretty much only gaining the defensive skills from there. The damage is really bad. It's not really multiplicative. I believe it's additive, that percent damage there. So the only good thing this really has for me is that armor over there. But the neck piece, I'll have the stat prior on the website for you guys. And then the aspect you want to be looking for is the core skills deal up to 30 to 60% increased damage based on your fortify. That one I believe is coming straight from my codex, so it is the lowest roll. So that is actually one of your biggest damage multipliers. So I could be theoretically doubling my damage over there since it goes from 30 to 60. So just try and get that one retaliation as high as you can. And then the Vicious Heart in here is one of the resource hearts I was speaking about. Every 5 seconds while above 60% life, core skills cost 318 life instead of your primary resource. Skills that consume life deal 25% increased damage. So It means your Pulverize, when it actually consumes life instead of your primary resource, is going to deal 25% increased damage. And this one is good to get on a lower world tier, as it's going to reduce the life cost that it drains from you. But it really doesn't matter that much later on, because with all your passives and everything, one Pulverize will probably usually heal you for around that amount anyway. So you'll just be gaining the damage from it. And that happens every 5 seconds while above 60% life. And you're pretty much always above 60% life because of all your fortify. Really, really strong over there on the heart. And then on the rings, you want to be going for lucky hit, vulnerable damage, crit strike chance, and then crit strike damage with earth skills. Or you could even get maybe max life or something like that if you want. But this one over here is just pure damage. Just really make sure you get lucky hit and vulnerable damage and then crit chance. Those three are really important. And we're going with earth skills, deal more critical strike damage to crowd control enemies. This is the aspect that I have removed Umbral aspect off, and then I put this one on now. I have this in there instead of the Umbral, so it's just increased damage against crowd control enemies, which they will always be because of your slow. And then the Wrathful Heart in here is really powerful, this one. Let me scroll down a bit. So you cycle through a Malignant bonus every 20 skills. And the Vicious, you gain 23% attack speed, so that's just really good for everything. Your Pulverize faster, your Generator's fast, everything's just faster. And then the Devious is really good. He has another resource part of it. Core and basic skills have an 18% chance to fully restore your primary resource. That's pretty much like a Tempest Roar, but even stronger. And then Brutal, every 18 seconds you gain a barrier. That one's not that important, but the first two are really strong. And you can easily tell which rotation you're in if you just scroll down below here. My attack space are increased by 23%, so I'm in that part. And then within 3 more kills, I'll go down to the next one, so the Devious part over there. And then moving on to the last ring, the stats are the same over there. And then we want to get duration of Grizzly Rage is increased. You're trying to get as high as you can, so 5 seconds increase. In addition, critical strikes with Grizzly Rage increase your crit strike damage by 10% for the duration, and that scales, I believe it doesn't have a cap, so just keep scaling. You can get up to like 990 crit damage. It's pretty crazy. We all know Grizzly Rage is insane. So yeah, just make sure you get that on your build. And then the Brutal Heart over there is really just for the 15% of incoming damage is instead suppressed. So basically just giving you 15% damage reduction. The second part doesn't really matter, as that AoE doesn't really do all that much. So that is it for gear. Let's have a look at our Spirit Boons real quick. We are using the reduced damage from elites in the first on the deer. We're using swooping attacks on the eagle until they fix or confirm that Avian Wrath is actually a multiplicative scaling one. So somebody tested this and it was actually additive. So I'm not sure. I haven't actually done my own testing on it. But yeah, for now I just use the attack speed. Although you could use that, or you could even go with the crit strike chance that if you're early on in progression and you don't have much crit strike chance. So the eagle is really just don't take Iron Feather because you don't really need the max life. So any of these are good on the eagle. And then with the wolf, we are picking up Calamity, extend the duration of our ultimate skills. And then down below, we are going to bond with the snake. And we're picking up Calm Before the Storm. This one's really important. Nature magic skills have up to a 10% chance to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate. And then we pick up Obsidian Slam. Every 20th kill will cause your next earth skill to overpower. This one is really strong. Every 20th kill you do a massive pulverize hit. And then this, you could, wait, was it Masochistic? You could use this one, but it has been nerfed a lot, as you do need a lucky hit crit strike with shapeshifting skills. I mean, we are stacking crit and lucky hit, so it is possible. So you could use that for a little bit of extra healing. If you feel like you are just getting murdered really fast, then switch over to that and try it out and see if it improves your survivability. Otherwise, just go with more damage. They can't kill you if you kill them first, am I right? And that is pretty much it. The Paragon tree, we haven't gone over that yet. I'll just show you guys the quick one. My level 72. I haven't done all of Renown yet either, so I'm missing quite a bit of Paragon. I will have the full board and everything up on Mobilitics for you guys to check out. But basically just come up the right on the starter board, picking up Exploit as our first glyph. Then we pick up all the dex nodes around here so we can actually get the exploit to work on everything. Then we come up for some damage, and then we insert the Ancestral Guidance board, because you can pick up this legendary node really fast and really early on, and you will be spending that 75 spirit really fast, so you'll be getting that damage buff quite often. It does last for 5 seconds. I believe within 5 seconds you can spend the 75 spirit again, so you can pretty much be refreshing it like instantly. Really strong as well with this maximum spirit early on, and then the spirit on kill is really good. You could pick up that one, but I decided to skip it since we don't really focus too much on generating spirit now. We focus more on getting the instant resets. So max spirit is a lot better. Then we come on all the way up, for some more core skill damage. Then we work ourselves around to this glyph. The Webe glyph is the next important one over there, as you can pick up willpower early on. And then we pick up harmony as well. And then once you level up this glyph later on, it's going to actually pull from that one as well. So you get the willpower there, increasing it even more. And then we come on up and we attach the survival instincts. Another one you can get to really fast. While in Webe form, you deal 1% increased damage up to 50% for every 1% difference in current life percent between you and the enemy. Really confusing and long worded, but basically you just deal more damage in Webe. Just keep that. That's it. And then we go up the right here for increased damage reduction while fortified, which will be all the time. We come around and then we pick up the spearhead over here for damage to healthy enemies. We'll eventually pick up the intellect there to get another 25% later on down the line. Then you want to work yourself up and you actually come to about there. Into the glyph there, and I believe we'll take Undaunted over there. Increasing your damage while fortified. And then battle hide over there, and then you come down the left, and I believe we'll go into Poison Creeper eventually. But I have that all up on Mobilytics, so this is like early progression Paragon Board, what it's going to look like. And that's really all there is to the build, guys. It was a pretty lengthy one. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, please drop a like and a sub to the channel. It helps me out so much. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the